This question given in GATE 2014 Session 2 EC paper. In the circuit shown, choose the correct diagram of the output Y from the given waveforms W1, W2, W3 and W4. Here two negative edge triggered D flip-flops were given and we need to find out the output equation Y. You can find the information related to a negative edge triggered D flip-flops in this given NPTEL course taught by Professor Santanu Chattopadhyaya from IIT Kharagpur. Before solving the above problem, we need to understand operation of negative edge triggered D flip-flop. So assume this is a flip. So consider a negative edge triggered D flip-flop. This is your clock input. So assume I have, let's take a clock signal like this. For a given D input, output of a negative edge triggered flip-flop simply samples the input at the negative clock transition. This is your negative clock transition. At this negative clock transition, the input is sampled. So at this transition, D input is logic 0. So I will assume initial state of Q is 0. At the negative edge, the D input is 0. So till the next clock edge, the output will be 0. In the second clock edge, in the second negative transition, D value is logic 1. So output will be 1. So output will be constant till the next clock edge. Till the next clock edge. At the clock edge 3, the input is logic 0. So output also logic 0. Similarly, at the next clock edge, say clock edge 4, the input is logic 1. So output also 1. At this clock edge 5, the input D is the input equals to logic 1. So output is also logic 1. So this is the operation of negative edge triggered D flip-flop. In the problem statement, these are the inputs applied to the circuit. Okay, so I will assume this output is Q1 and this output is Q2. So both are negative edge trigger flip-flop. First I will find out the output waveform Q1 and output waveform Q2. So from the previous discussion, this flip-flop is a negative edge trigger flip-flop. So the output Q1, initially I will assume 0. So till the clock edge, the output will be 0 only. So at this clock transition, the X1 input is logic 0. So output will be 0 till the next clock edge. So at this clock edge 2, the X1 input is logic 1. So Q1 also logic 1. So it maintains this logic 1 value till the next clock edge. At the clock edge 3, the X1 input is logic 1. So it will be logic 1 till the next clock edge. Okay. Similarly, we can find out the output waveform Q2. This flip-flop 2 also a negative edge triggered D flip-flop. So similarly, at the clock edge 1, initially assume the output of Q2 is logic 0. At this clock edge 1, the input X2 is logic 0. So output is also logic 0. So the output maintains logic 0 till the next clock edge. At the clock edge 2, the X2 input is logic 0. So output also logic 0. At the clock edge 3, the X2 input is logic 0. So output will be logic 0. So at this clock transition, say clock edge 4, the X2 value is logic 1. So output will be logic 1. The output Y is simply AND operation of X1, X1, X2. So when you perform the AND operation between X1 and X2, so here logic 0 means the output Y is logic 0. Here 1 and here logic 0. So till it is logic 0. Here both are 1. So output will be logic. This output is correspond to W3. So the correct option is C.